Let me ask you something. How bad do you want it? Not just in words, not just in dreams. I mean in your bones, in your soul, in the deepest part of your being. Because let me tell you, if you're not obsessed, you're not going to make it. The people who rise to the top, the ones who defy the odds, the ones who break through every wall, they aren't just interested. They aren't just passionate. They are obsessed. And obsession isn't a curse. It's a gift. It's the fire that burns so deep inside you that nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop you. Obsession is what gets you out of bed at 4 a.m. when everyone else is sleeping. Obsession is what keeps you going when your body is screaming for rest. Obsession is why the greats Michael Jordan, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs didn't just succeed, they dominated. They weren't more talented. They weren't luckier, they were obsessed. Now, some people will tell you that obsession is dangerous. They'll tell you to have balance, to take it easy, to enjoy life. You know who says that? The ones who never made it. The ones who settled. The ones who live in regret. Because obsession isn't the enemy, mediocrity is. Comfort is. Doubt is. When you are obsessed, fear no longer controls you. Doubt no longer cripples you. You don't need someone to push you because your drive is like a rocket engine inside of you. And listen, when you become obsessed, people won't understand you. They'll call you crazy. They'll laugh at you. But guess what? The ones who laugh now will watch you rise later. They'll wonder how you did it. And you'll know the answer. Obsession. You don't become great by doing what's normal. You don't become unstoppable by taking breaks when it gets tough. You become great when your obsession becomes who you are. When there is no plan B. When you breathe it, think it, live it, until you don't even recognize the person you used to be. So I ask you again, how bad do you want it? Because if you're not obsessed, someone else will be, and they will win. There's a thin line between the ordinary and the extraordinary, and that line is drawn by one word, obsession. It's not talent, not luck, not connections. It's the fire inside you that refuses to go out. The force that wakes you up before the sun and keeps you grinding long after everyone else has gone to bed. Think about the greatest achievers in history, the ones who changed the world, shattered expectations, and rewrote the rules of what's possible. They weren't just interested in their dreams. They weren't just passionate. They were obsessed. Let's talk about the kid who got cut from his high school basketball team. Most people would have given up, called it a sign that they weren't meant for it. But this kid, he became obsessed. He trained harder than anyone, shooting thousands of shots before school, after school, in his driveway until his hands bled. That kid was Michael Jordan. Not just talented, obsessed. Look at the entrepreneur who had nothing, who slept on office floors, ate cheap food, and worked 100-hour weeks while everyone around him told him to quit. He wasn't just interested in success. He lived it, breathed it, sacrificed everything for it. That man was Elon Musk. He didn't get lucky. He didn't take shortcuts. He became obsessed with making his vision a reality. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is simple. Most people like the idea of success. They want it. They wish for it. But obsession, that's something else entirely. The ordinary wait for the perfect moment. The extraordinary create it. The ordinary dabble. The extraordinary dive in with everything they have. The ordinary listen to doubt. The extraordinary drown it out with relentless action. Obsession is what keeps you pushing when the world tells you to stop. It's what fuels you when your body is exhausted, your mind is screaming for rest, and the road ahead looks impossible. Interest fades when things get tough, but obsession only gets stronger. Picture this. It's 2 a.m. and you're exhausted. You've been grinding for hours, building something from nothing. Your friends are out partying, your family thinks you're crazy, and self-doubt whispers in your ear. Is it even worth it? That moment right there, that's the breaking point. Most people quit, most people fold under the pressure. But the obsessed, that's when they go harder. That's when they double down. That's when they separate themselves from the pack. Every champion, every icon, every history maker had that moment. The moment where everything told them to stop, but their obsession refused to let them. It's easy to be interested in your goals when things are going well, when motivation is high, when the road is clear. But when failure hits, when rejection slaps you in the face, when nothing seems to be working. That's when you find out who you really are. Are you just interested or are you obsessed? Because the world doesn't hand out success. It doesn't reward the ones who kind of want it. It gives everything to the ones who can't breathe without it. The ones who turn their obsession into their fuel, their power, their identity. So ask yourself, are you willing to go all in? To sacrifice sleep, comfort, distractions? To give up the nights out, the excuses, the plan B? Because the moment you cross that line, the moment you stop being interested and start being obsessed, that's when everything changes. That's when the extraordinary begins. Fear and doubt, two of the greatest killers of dreams. They creep into your mind like shadows in the night, whispering lies, telling you you're not good enough, not ready, not capable. They paralyze you, make you hesitate, convince you to wait for the right time, a time that never comes. But there is one force greater than fear, one power stronger than doubt, and that is obsession. When you are obsessed, fear doesn't stand a chance. It can try to slow you down, try to break you, but it will always fail. Because obsession doesn't listen to fear. Obsession doesn't give doubt a seat at the table. Obsession burns so hot, so deep, that it incinerates every excuse, every hesitation, every moment of weakness. Think about the people who have achieved the impossible. Do you think they didn't feel fear? Do you think they never had doubts? Of course they did. But they were so consumed by their obsession that fear became irrelevant. Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down into the unknown. That drop, that uncertainty, it's terrifying. Most people turn back. Most people let doubt control them. But the obsessed, they don't even see the cliff. They see only the goal on the other side. The fire inside them is so strong that hesitation isn't an option. They run, they jump, they push forward, because stopping isn't even a consideration. Obsession doesn't leave room for fear. Fear needs space to grow. It thrives in hesitation, in second guessing, in waiting. But when you are truly obsessed, your mind is too focused, too locked in, too relentless to entertain anything other than progress. Doubt feeds on inaction. The longer you wait, the louder it gets. It tells you that you're not ready, that you don't have what it takes, that you'll fail. But obsession doesn't wait. Obsession moves, it acts, it dominates. And when you are in motion, doubt has no choice but to fade away. Think about a time in your life when fear held you back. Maybe it was a dream you abandoned, a goal you put on hold, a moment when you let doubt win. Now imagine if, in that moment, you had been obsessed. If instead of letting fear paralyze you, you had used it as fuel. If instead of hesitating, you had thrown yourself into relentless action, where would you be now? How much further ahead would you be? That's the difference. That's the power of obsession. It's not about being fearless. It's about being so driven, so consumed by your mission that fear has no control over you. The obsessed don't need to feel confident to take action. They don't need everything to be perfect before they start. They move forward regardless. They trust the fire inside them more than they trust their doubts. Fear will always be there, knocking at your door. But obsession kicks the door down. It drowns out the noise. It forces you to take that first step, that second step, that 100th step, until suddenly you look back and realize that fear never had power over you to begin with. Every excuse you've ever made, I'm not ready, I don't know enough, what if I fail, is nothing but an illusion. The moment you become obsessed, those excuses vanish. Because obsession doesn't negotiate. It doesn't bargain with weakness. It doesn't entertain distractions. It moves forward no matter what. So the question is, are you willing to let go of your doubts, to stop giving fear control, to become so obsessed with your vision that nothing, not hesitation, not failure, not even fear itself, can stop you? Because the second you do, your entire world will change. Most people wake up needing motivation. They look for something to push them, a video, a quote, a speech, something to spark that fire inside them. But there's a difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The ones at the top, the ones who dominate, they don't need motivation. They don't wait for the right feeling to take action. They don't rely on some outside force to get them moving. They are obsessed. An obsession, that's the difference between wanting success and needing it like oxygen. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. Some days you have it, some days you don't. But obsession never leaves you. It's there when you wake up, when you go to sleep, when you're working, when you're resting, when you're winning, and when you're losing. It doesn't care about feelings, and it doesn't wait for permission. It moves, it drives, it pushes you forward when nothing else will. Look at the ones who made history, the athletes who trained when no one was watching, the entrepreneurs who worked in silence before the world knew their name, the artists who created long before they were recognized. They didn't wake up every day asking themselves if they felt motivated. They didn't rely on a pep talk or a morning routine to get started. They were locked in, focused, consumed by their vision. A boxer doesn't get in a ring only when he feels like fighting. A business leader doesn't build an empire only on days when they're inspired. A champion doesn't train only when it's convenient. They do it every day, no matter what, because they are obsessed, because their vision is stronger than their excuses. Motivation is a crutch for those who haven't found their obsession. If you need to be reminded why you started, you're not obsessed enough. If you have to force yourself to take action, you haven't made it a part of you. The moment you cross that line, when your dream becomes an obsession, you no longer need to be pushed. You become the one who pushes. Think about it. When was the last time you had to be motivated to eat, to breathe, to sleep? You don't, because those things are necessary for survival. That's how success must feel. That's what separates those who dream from those who do. When your goal is as essential to you as air, failure is not an option. Quitting is not an option. And motivation, that's something for other people, not you. When you are obsessed, discipline takes over where motivation fades. You don't wait until you feel like it. You just do it. You don't need inspiration to take the next step. You take it because there is no other way. Your mind is wired differently. Your actions are automatic. You are driven at a level that others don't understand. And that's why they'll call you crazy. They'll ask why you work so hard, why you sacrifice so much. They won't get it because they rely on motivation. They need the push, the perfect circumstances, the right mood. But you don't have time for that. You are already moving, already building, already executing while they're still waiting to feel ready. The ones who succeed at the highest level don't have more talent. They don't have more luck. They have an unstoppable drive that doesn't depend on external forces. They don't need a reminder, they are the reminder. They don't need motivation, they are motivation. So if you find yourself constantly searching for something to get you going, stop and ask yourself, are you truly obsessed? Because the moment you are, everything changes. You won't need to be pushed, you won't need motivation, you will be unstoppable. Obsession isn't something you do, it's something you become. The people who rise to the top, the ones who dominate their industries, the ones who break records and set new standards, they don't just pursue their dreams, they embody them. Their obsession is their identity. It's not separate from them, it's who they are at their core. Most people treat success like a hobby. They dip their toes in, try a little here, a little there, and wonder why they never make it. They separate their goals from their daily life, from their mindset, from their habits. But the ones who make it, they don't just work on their dream when it's convenient. Their dream is them. There is no distinction between their vision and their reality. It's all one. Think about the greatest in any field. They don't have a job. They have a mission. A mission so deeply ingrained in their DNA that nothing can shake them. When they wake up in the morning, they don't wonder what they should do next. It's automatic. Their actions, their choices, their thoughts all revolve around that one thing. It's not a question of if they will do the work. It's a certainty. It's a reflex. When you truly rewire your brain for obsession, there is no effort needed to stay disciplined. You don't have to remind yourself why you started. You don't need to force yourself to stay on track. You don't decide whether or not you'll take action. You just do, because it's who you are. That's the difference. That's what makes the unstoppable, the relentless, the ones who cannot be broken. They aren't chasing success, they are success. They don't seek greatness, they are greatness. It all starts with how you see yourself. If you see yourself as someone who is trying to be successful, you will always struggle. But when you see yourself as someone who is successful, as someone who is already locked in, already obsessed, already the person you need to be, everything shifts. Your brain doesn't like conflict. It will always try to align your actions with your identity. If you believe you are disciplined, you will act disciplined. If you believe you are lazy, you will act lazy. If you believe you are obsessed, nothing will be able to stop you. Every thought you have, every word you speak, every action you take, train yourself to make it align with the identity you want. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Say, I am success. Don't just say, I'm working on my dream. Say, this is who I am. The moment you make that shift, you stop needing motivation. You stop battling hesitation. You just move, just execute, just become. That's the secret. That's how the greats separate themselves. They don't wait for confidence. They don't wait for validation. They don't wait for permission. They rewire their mind until they are the person they need to be. And once you do that, once obsession becomes your identity, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. So now the question isn't, can you do it? The question is, will you? Will you stop treating your dream like an option and start treating it like your identity? Will you stop dipping your toes in the water and dive in so deep that turning back is no longer a choice? Because here's the truth. The world belongs to those who refuse to quit, the ones who don't make excuses, the ones who burn the boats, who leave themselves no way out except forward. The ones who say, I will not stop until I get there. I will not rest until I have built it. I will not listen to doubt, to fear, to anyone who tells me it's impossible, because I am obsessed, because this is who I am. Greatness isn't given, it's taken. It's earned in the moments when no one is watching, in the late nights and early mornings, in the sacrifices that no one else is willing to make. While others sleep, you grind. While others doubt, you believe. While others quit, you keep going. There is no plan B. There is no safety net. If you want to be legendary, you have to be all in. You have to wake up every day with one mission, one purpose, one unstoppable drive. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I am the storm. I am the one they will remember. I am built for this. I was made for this. And nothing will stop me. Because when you reach the end of your life, you won't regret the times you tried and failed. You'll regret the times you never even tried. The times you let fear win. Times you played small when you were meant for more. So decide now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, decide that you will not stop, that you will not break, that no matter what stands in your way, no matter who doubts you, no matter how long it takes, you will rise. Because the ones who change the world, the ones who make history, the ones who are remembered forever, they don't wait for permission. They don't ask if it's possible. They become obsessed. And because of that, they become unstoppable.